Hello and welcome to Good Journeys Tarot. This is Rosemary, and I want to thank everyone for being patient with me while I took some time to rest and take care of myself during this weird time of year. It seems like there are so many holidays during this time of year and events that things just get really odd. Your routine's all broken up and you're at home probably more than normal, you're eating more than normal. And even during the pandemic here at home alone, it's been that way. And so um, I have only been up long enough to shower and make my cup of coffee today. I was in my beautiful triple moon cauldron. And I've been enjoying that mug, and I need a new mug because I feel like I use that one all the time and only that one. I really got to find the right sunflower or butterfly mug for me in particular. So today we are picking back up talking about the Queen of Wands, which was our card from 2 weeks ago, which I worked through, I designed, I posted about and everything, but I just couldn't get myself to do the live last week and decided that we would postpone it till today and start the new year off right, getting back into our 78 cards in 78 weeks. My puppies are a little bit anxious because we haven't been up that long and I'm already ignoring them. So bear with them if you hear them whining and that type of thing today. So speaking of holidays and the new year and everything, I just thought I'd share a little bit about what I have been doing. This past week, I took some time and I did a reading each day on a different area of my life using a spread that I had gotten during a course with Benabel Wynn to kind of evaluate where things are and also create some magic by pulling a card out, specifically an energy that I wanted to overcome what I was seeing in my spread, right? And so I did enjoy that experience. It was really odd. The first 2 days, the magic card was the same, the energy that I needed. And so then the third day, I was like, this is really weird, but it's also this card again. And so on the fourth day, I intentionally reworded and rephrased my question, thinking, okay, surely the answer cannot be the Chariot. And it was still the Chariot. That idea of free will, of moving forward, and that type of thing seems to be what I need going into the new year in every area of my life. Welcome, Gerald, with Tarot Stash. So glad you're here listening this morning. I am playing around with some things today. I used the countdown, which worked out pretty well. And I had a banner set and it disappeared. And I think that's because I started the countdown accidentally and then I stopped it until it was time to start. And I think it erased my banner. But so we'll try again next week with that. It's been an interesting morning with my computer. I couldn't print color. It didn't give me the option at all, which is really weird. Something that's only started since Windows 11. And it looks like it's because my color ink is out, which is odd. Usually it would just print nothing on the page. But I'm digressing. So speaking of the new year, Biddy White passed away. I had done a live with Jason and Amy from Tarot by the Pines and Strength Reversed, respectively, about that deck, at least the major arcana in it. And so right shortly after her passing, I did a spread. And I was like, okay, so everybody was talking about what this bodes for the new year. And so that was kind of my question for the tarot, what does this bode for the new year, that someone so well liked would pass at the end of the year. And the cards that I got were, the first card was the Hermit, which is actually Rose, played by Betty White. So this kind of reminds me of all the little cartoons that you see going around about 2022, people slowly poking the door open, kind of being careful, watching out for what's coming, you know, and so I feel like that is certainly an energy, but I don't think we need to let our anxiety get to us. Our second card was the Knight of Swords. So really, you know, we need to move forward and, you know, despite our trepidations, of despite not being able to see everything, keep going. And that's really what Betty White did in her life throughout her career, and we have all come to appreciate about her. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. A lot of people are doing their holiday haul videos right now. I don't really have any haul because I only have one person who sends me gifts, and they would never send me anything tarot related. So I did get some watercolors from my mom, who is the person who will send me a gift. But for whatever reason, she didn't think I needed watercolor paper or anything, which is odd. Maybe she didn't realize I'd never painted in watercolors before, and I'm trying to learn it. And so I bought the paper, and I actually had gotten this book, which I had seen on Lisa Popez's channel, which is about how to watercolor paint, and it's also a meditative kind of book, walking you through using art to be more mindful. And so I've completed about the first week. Today's the last day in the first week, and which has basically been about mixing the colors and seeing how they mingle on the pages and those types of exercises, which have been lots of fun. I have not even got my ship notice for it yet. So we'll see what happens there. I did actually, Gerald, get the art oracles. And when I received it, and this was seen over on Tarot Stash's channel during our chit chat last week. But when I saw this and I felt the box, I was like, this is so familiar. This packaging and everything. And so I looked, and in my inventory of decks, I actually already have 2 decks by Lawrence King, who is the publisher. And that's absolutely true, Gerald. You're right. One of those is the Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition is by this publisher, and also more recently, the Runes for Modern Life, which I had gotten and loved. Now, I will tell you that the biggest difference between this deck and those decks is the cardstock. So the cardstock's not really great on this, but it serves its purpose. And I've been pulling one of these every day as I do my exercises with my watercoloring, because I do really love this. And one of the things I thought I would share with particularly Gerald is that I discovered there are actually about 7 or 8 of these decks. If you look under Lawrence King, the publisher, there's actually a feminist oracles, which looked interesting that I might grab. I don't believe that one was one of the ones that we talked about the other night. And then the final thing that actually came in that I had actually ordered back in like June or July was, of course, the Spirit Keepers Tarot Revelation Edition. And so I'm very excited to be working with this. This is what I used all this last week. And what I'm going to be using for a lot of my projects going forward through this year is I'm working with some very esoteric things that I'm learning about. And so this deck will come in handy. If you want to see this deck in all of its glory, along with its sister decks, the first edition and the Vitruvian, there will be a video on Wednesday of that. And I have taken time to timestamp it for you. So if you only want to watch a little bit of it at a time, you can do that. And then pick up where you left off, because it is a long video trying to compare 3 decks, right? But I enjoyed doing that. And I was able to put, give some of my thoughts on the changes and updates to the cards, which is something that Benabel had been asking about from her followers. Speaking of Benabel Wynn, last night I reached out to her, and I I asked her if she would be interested in coming on my channel and talking about gender specifically, and representation in tarot, specifically esoteric tarot, like the Spirit Keepers Tarot. And I didn't expect to hear from her till, like, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. But she was like, okay, yeah, you want to do it tomorrow? And I'm like, wow. Okay. But I already had my live plan today. And so I've scheduled that for Saturday at noon here, Eastern Standard Time, on this channel. And we will be talking specifically about her deck and how she has included um, transgender representation, which she mentioned in some of her videos, but also just the idea of gender in general in esoteric tarot. And so I'm looking forward to that. And if you have any questions for her related to gender or representation of the LGBT community in particular, please do share them with me. You can do so via email. I'm Good Journeys Tarot everywhere, so that includes Gmail. And you can contact me through my website, or if you go to my link tree, you'll see all the various ways that you can get in touch with me. Yeah, so that's all of the goodies I need to share with you and all the things coming up and happening. So let's talk a little bit about the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is that card that is our fire queen, right? And one of the things I found as I've studied the two court cards that we've now looked at is that there really is not very much written about them in most books. It's just a little bit, um, and so there is a it can be hard to study the court cards, right? Because they give you maybe as much information as they might about, say, the pip cards. Whereas, like with the major arcana, the books always have like pages and pages of information. And the information can be somewhat limited in the court cards. And also, I find that everyone takes different approaches with the court cards. So I've yet to find one really good book on the court cards and reading them and the symbolism in them and all of those types of things. I've actually read a couple and I really just couldn't with them. So I am going to try to add mods this week, Gerald. For some reason, YouTube's giving me a lot of trouble with it, so I'm gonna have to do it during a video, and maybe I'll do that towards the end of today. This is a card that typically is associated with beauty, and hence the black cat, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. But before we do, let's look at some of the queens in my deck collection that I really do like. The oldest decks were a queen holding a wand. It was just that simple. And then we moved towards that Smith Waite image, which is redepicted in many decks in different fashions. A woman with a cat and sunflowers. This is the Curious Travels, which is just beautiful. And even decks that have their own theme, they adopt this idea of the sunflower and or the cat. Those seem to be the prevalent ideas in most cards. Even some of the darker cards capture that kind of sunflower energy, and even that little black cat in the front. Here's Robin Scott's Urban Tarot. There's actually a feline. It's a different type of feline. This is a Thoth-based deck. And in the Thoth-based deck, there is that kind of cheetah jaguar image rather than a house cat. This is definitely a different kind of energy than you see in the Wade Smith deck. This is more about the power of that queen. Some associate her with the emperor because of her fire energy, that she is a leader in her own right. You get cards This is actually a deck that has keywords on it, and you'll see at the very top of it is courage. And you begin to see in some modern decks where you get that kind of power representation, a very Leo energy, as it were, and beautiful. And then also we get the cards that focus on the fire energy. So here we have the Lily White and our Light Seers, which has a little bit of that manifestation energy. Again, our fire energy and Spacious Tarot. And this card, getting a little bit of that magic in there from the Wands. This is Marie Laveau. Got that Ouroboros flaming around her neck. We get decks that show off the creativity. This is the Hip Chick Tarot. And then we get cards that kind of combine some of the energy. So probably my two favorite cards are these right here. First, the Numinous Tarot, which kind of captures that power and passion, but it still holds on to those elements from the Smith Way to the sunflowers and the black cat. You'll also see that more fiery Leo energy there on the wall. So there's a manifestation aspect of this, that magic with the wands. And so I do love this. Another card that really does this well is the This Might Hurt Tarot, a more modern approach to a creator, using some of that Smith Waite imagery that we've been looking at throughout today. I was really excited to color this particular card because I don't know, it just felt pretty to me. And every time I see this card, that's what I think about. A lot of people talk in their books about how this is the representation of a beautiful woman. This is someone that people are attracted to. And so not just because of her appearance, but also because of her charisma. So some of the symbols in this card that we might look at are the cat. There are several different ideas behind the cat, depending on who you talk to. One of the most common ones is that idea of a woman who is desirable, who has many suitors. I'm not sure how that relates to a cat, but historically, that's kind of the idea here with this black cat. Some people associate it with power, grace, ferocity, and some with protection, like the witch's familiar type of thing. Other times you see the lion represented there for courage and power. And so there is a very distinct notion about this particular queen, that she is I'd say almost a feline in herself. She's attractive, and she is courageous, and she is warm and energetic. Some other things about her, though, in the shadow side, she can be a snob. She can know how good she has it and how good she is. She could also be a shrinking violet, i.e., she could be fading away, right? She no longer has that energy that she used to. She could become like the emperor, who she is associated with sometimes, domineering and maybe even melodramatic, or she might be passive and submissive rather than her normal charismatic, sensual self. Creativity is associated with her, personal power, that self-assuredness, and she just has a magnetic personality. And that's why I think a lot of people associate her with the emperor, is because she has a lot of personal power and is a powerful person in the court cards. There is an association among some of the books that I read of her with Leo and others with Aries. And I think the reason for that is because really any fire zodiac could be associated with the court cards. And I think the idea that she is in a way related to the emperor in her ability to be powerful and to rule her own domain on her own, unlike some of the other queens, perhaps. So she gets associated with the emperor, but she's also very much associated with cats, right? Hence that Leo association. But again, with most of the courts, we can associate them with any sign that's in that same element, really, depending on who the person is, that it might be the querent or their significant other, really. So those are my thoughts on this card right now. I probably should pull up and share with you what I ended up with. And usually that's the first thing I do, right? Because I am so excited to show it off. Let's see. Here we go. Share. As I said, I just woke up today, so I probably did not prepare as much this morning. So I have two versions of this card, which I have been working with. And oops, sorry. I'm trying to do something and oh, come on. Why are you in the way? Okay, here we go. So here are my two versions. Gerald and I had talked about this earlier in the week. This painting versus this painting. That's really the only difference between these two cards. And the difference being that this is a clip art, like everything else in my image. This is actually a photograph of an actual painting that I did a couple of years ago. Is the last project that I worked on for more than a few days. Hi, Ange, welcome. I'm just showing my final product. I did not decide yet which one of these I'm going to use. I feel like the difference in the quality of the artwork in this version where we used my painting versus this one where I used the clip art does throw me a little bit. And so I'm not sure which I prefer looking at it. I did want to bring in some blue into this card because I feel like that water energy that is associated with the queens needed to be present in some manner. Which is why I chose images for the sunflower that had blue in it and went that direction. So this week, I have a new card, which I drew right before the broadcast that I'll be working on. And funny coincidence. Are you ready? It is the Ace of Wands. So we went from the Ace of Swords to the Queen of Wands back to the Ace of Wands. Now, one of the things I noticed as I pulled this card today, and I'm thinking about it is that in the Waite Smith versions of the cards, the hands come from different directions. And I think that that has supposed to indicate something, but I don't recall seeing that mentioned in any of my readings. So now I have to research that and possibly mirror this card so that the hand comes in from the opposite side that it is currently in my edition. So this week, again, working with Ace energy, that creative force or message that may be coming through to us from the divine. So looking forward to that. Coincidentally, I'm also working through the Aces in the Spirit Keepers Tarot this week as I study it with a group of people online. So before I go, let me go ahead and pop over to YouTube to this video and add you guys as moderators since you're with me. And again, if anyone has any questions regarding the topic of gender and esoteric tarot that we talked about with Benabel Win on Saturday, please do let me know. Let's see, add moderator. And add moderator. Okay, see, that was simple and easy, and it let me do it in just a moment. But when I've tried to do it using the settings on YouTube, it says it cannot find you. It's kind of weird. So now you guys are set up. Ange and Gerald, thank you for agreeing to be there Saturday. I do expect a little larger audience than normal because it will be Benabel with us. I know Julie at Peekaboo Rose said, you know, her live with Benabel was the largest event that she had as well on her channel. So looking forward to that on Saturday. Again, if you want to see me walk through and compare those Spirit Keepers Tarot decks, that will be posting on Wednesday here on YouTube. Look for me on Instagram this week going through my study of the Ace of Wands. I want to thank everyone who dropped in today for being with me and listening to me ramble since I woke up at the last minute and didn't prepare adequately. Until next time, everyone, good journeys.